Just finished up the leg day. I'll tell you what, ever since I started using the belt, made a big difference. I used to never use a belt when I started out with squats. I was actually afraid to do it because I always made excuses because I got a messed up back, it's crooked, it hurt. And whenever I did them, I would get hurt probably because I try to do more than I can. And when it comes down to it, just doing squats is hard and pushing yourself is hard. But I started out really light. I didn't use anything. I didn't use a belt. I didn't use knee sleeves, anything special. I started with front squats because I thought, I'm just gonna try to be really strict on my technique, really light. I started with like 115 pounds about a little over 3 years ago. Slowly built up, and I just did a powerlifting competition last month and was able to get 347. So that's pretty cool to see that slow progression, and it's changed a lot. I did ego lift for a while, not even getting to parallel, thinking I was doing it right, but then dropped the weight, moving back up again now, and it makes a huge difference. But with belts, what I first started doing like maybe a year and a half ago was just using this. This is my dip belt, so put it on, hook the weight to it to do dips and stuff like that. But I would just unhook this and then use this as a belt. It's padded on the inside. It's kind of nice because it got some support, and this just clips through and you can make it really tight. And the idea with the belt is that when you're doing the squat, you want to have everything as tight as you can so that you're really safe and protecting your back, and you have something to push against. And once I got above 225 squatting, I could really feel, especially in the front when I'm still bracing, but it just didn't feel real great. And I started using this, I noticed a real big difference right off the bat. And I used this for about a year, and then my little hook attachment that went right here fell off when I was leaving the gym one time, and I never found it. So I was like, well, I need to get an actual belt, or a real one. So since I decided to do a powerlifting meet, I got out the rule book, and this is for the WRPF. There's lots of different federations, but I'm sure it's pretty similar to most of the things. And they have rules for everything, what kind of underwear you can wear, what kind of socks. They have here for the belt a certain type, so I figured I'm gonna be doing this. I wanna make sure I get the right type of belt, and I wanted to get something that was customized. As you can see, my logo's right there. So when you're looking at this, the belt shall be made of leather, vinyl, or other similar non-stretch material. So this, for example, this is kind of stretchy. The outside's leather, but it stretches on the inside. So that's a no-go. And also no padding or bracing supports within it. So this is cushion on the back, which was nice to push against, but you can't have that. So this type of thing is out. So you can have a buckle with the 2 prongs in it or a lever type belt. And when it comes to the buckle kind, I don't really like them because when you put them in, you got to pull it really tight, way past where you want it, get them in and put it back, and it holds really well. You're doing your squats, but then when you get done, there's been a lot of times where I get to the end of a long set and I feel like I'm gonna puke, and then you got to pull it even tighter to get off, and you're like, oh, that does not feel good. So I'm not a big fan of those. If you like it, you know, that's cool, but this is the first time I used a lever, and there's all these different holes, so you can decide what fits right. And I started on this first one here when I got it. But as I bulked up and gained 19 pounds, it started hurting about halfway through. So I moved this over one, and I've been losing a little bit of weight, and I can feel it getting a little bit looser now. So I'll probably eventually, maybe 5 pounds from now, move that back over. But the nice thing about this is when you do get done with that set and you're like, oh, I feel like I'm gonna puke, you can just loosen it like that, and you don't actually have to take the belt all the way off, which I like. So I can leave the thing on while I'm changing out the weights, getting ready for my next set. And when I'm ready, pull it, ready to go. The one thing though to keep in mind with this is you just got to play around with where it's comfortable for this, because if you get it on the side, it can kind of pinch your skin over here. So figuring out where is comfortable so that when you actually pull it, it's not hurting, because you've got 2 pieces over top of each other there. But then, you know, got the logo on the back. I played around with it a little bit and kind of made it look distressed, so it's not just straight up white, and it's a little bit almost looks somewhat textured. So I really like that. The company I use for this is called Aesthreadics. I'll have a link in the description. It's not sponsored, but I really liked it. This was 150 bucks for a custom belt, and it meets all the standards. And that's with shipping included after a discount I found. But with some of the rules here, you have the maximum belt width is 10 centimeters. So that's about 4 inches, and that's what this is here. So good to go there. And then the maximum thickness is 13 centimeters. So, you know, this way. And it meets all those. I looked at a bunch of different companies to make sure that I wouldn't have a belt and then get them and be like, oh, you can't use this. So, and it meets everything we have there, maximum distance for all that. And there's measurements and everything for this to make sure you have the right type of thing for yourself there. But I'll tell you what, Using a belt, I wouldn't just use it starting out for no reason. Like, get to work into your squats, have good form. Once you get to heavy enough weights, then start adding it. Like when I'm doing my squats, I warm up with a bar with nothing on at all, and then I move up to my next warm-up set of 135. I'll put my knee sleeves on, and then when I get up over 200 for my third warm-up, then I'll put my belt on. So I'm still working up to it. And you do want to make sure you have a strong core. It's not like you're going to be weak because you have this, but having something to push against. I just immediately, when I started using it, felt more stable when I used the other belt. Then when I moved to this belt, it was crazy how much the difference is, because this is so much thicker and stronger and doesn't flex like that other belt did. And getting those higher numbers feels a lot better with something like this. So if you have any belt questions, post them below. I'll try to help you if I can. Hit that like button if you like this video. Subscribe if you're new. And yeah, home gym life, all these different things here. If you have any questions about the gym, if you want to make your own setup, what type of stuff is good? I've wasted my money on some stuff that I never use now, but I like what we got here and it works out, and just shows you don't need a ton of stuff to get jacked. Or you can just go to a gym, it's cheaper. But I like working out at home. See you later.